Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Summary. I'm your host, Kyle. With me, as always, is Steve, and we got a slightly depressing but much needed conversation to have this morning about Liverpool's performance yesterday against Brighton. As we know, Liverpool lost 3-0 to Brighton, and it was a horrible, horrible performance. We got to talk about why that is. Was it effort-based solely? Was it tactics? Was it because we have all these injuries? We'll talk about it all today. With me, as always, is Steve. Steve, how you doing, man?
I've been better, to be honest. I think we all have.
I think we all have.
It's to answer your question or to touch on what you mentioned, I think it's a combination of everything. It's not just one thing. Effort needs to improve, tactics need to improve, lineup needs to improve. We'll get into all of that today, but uh, this is one of the worst losses of the Klopp era, for sure.
100%, I agree. And I think it's the worst match I've watched. I mean, I don't know what people think, but I'm just sitting there watching the first half thinking I was laughing. I was laughing out loud at how bad we were playing, dude. It's just I don't
Strange, poor performances yesterday too. Like Matip was unbelievably bad.
all right, so here's the thing. In the first half, people are going to think I'm crazy, but in the first half, I thought Kanate and Matip were actually really good. They were the best players on the pitch. Kanate was everywhere. He was going from sideline to sideline defending, okay? But our midfield just wasn't helping anyone out. Brighton, two passes. I just watched it time after time, dude. Brighton, one pass through the midfield. Like there was no space, nothing. And I'm watching Matip and Kanate defend for their lives. Somehow we get to halftime with no goals conceded. I was like, all right, that's good. Hopefully Klopp made some changes at halftime. Not a damn thing. Second half starts, then Matip makes his mistake. He passes the ball basically right to, I don't know who it was, Solly March or whatever, and they come back and score their first goal. That was laughable.
It's like
I just want to watch it. I want to watch it again and be like, let's watch this sequence because I was counting how many times they completed passes, Steve. They couldn't complete more than 10 passes the whole game before
yeah.
Brighton.
Did we have what up until the very end there? I think we had like one shot on target.
Yeah,
Like
and it
it was really bad.
was really bad. And wasn't it Ox's despicable effort of a header after a good cross from Trent? Ox actually had a
It was
chance
a
to
foot.
score.
Yeah, it was like a high foot. I think we're talking about the same thing. That was a good build. Like that was great build up. That was like classic Liverpool. That little moment there. But other than that, dude, like I can't even think of anything that I was happy about.
No, no. And yeah, no. I think what really stood out to me was how Klopp reacted to it. Klopp going over to the away fans and like saying, thank you for staying, for sticking this out," because away fans were leaving, dude. And can you blame them? No,
No, no,
no,
not one bit.
no. I mean, you don't want to stick around for that performance.
And the players that like Sony March and Danny Welbeck, like those are the players like carving you up.
Oh,
It's
Danny
just like,
Welbeck carved up. Was it Kanate at the end? That last goal
mm-hmm.
was actually a really nice goal. Solly March's goal was really nice too. The first goal was just kind of pitiful, but
um,
happy
Bright.
birthday, Hannah, by the way.
Oh, happy birthday!
Shout out to Hannah.
We got a super chat.
Super chat from Liz saying the same thing. Happy birthday, Hannah. We love
Happy
you.
birthday.
Appreciate it. Steve, you gonna sing Hannah happy birthday or no?
I will. Let me get warmed up first.
Okay, get warmed up. All right. Yeah. So here's the thing, guys. Steve, I want to get your thought on this, okay? We were talking about this yesterday. We've clearly spent a lot of money on our attack. Our attack is good when everyone's healthy, which they're not right now. So we're playing up front with Ox, Gakpo, and Salah, which on paper is like, oh, okay, that's not great, but Ox is just useless. Absolutely useless up there. The problem's the midfield. We gotta revamp the midfield, dude, and on paper, it's the same thing. You look at Fabinho, Thiago Henderson, that midfield should dominate anyone. They weren't. They were playing like garbage, trash, waste.
And they
I
haven't been. They haven't been good at all. Uh, my fear is, like, people think signing a midfielder is gonna solve the problem, but I think at this point, you might need a full rebuild of the midfield. Like, you might need to sign 2 or 3.
so elaborate on that. So you said you I wanna like, what specifically needs the rebuild? Like, is it the tactical approach to the midfield, or is it personnel?
I think it's personnel. I don't think it's tactical. Now,
Okay.
we will talk about Klopp today because I do think he is to blame, for some of this stuff. People saying, like, it's I've seen some people say Klopp's not at fault at all.
Mhm.
I don't think that could be farther from the truth. He is the manager. Like, he's in charge. Um, we just it's almost like we're playing without a midfield.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like we're attacking and they get the ball back, 2 passes, they're through,
No, yes, I know. I know.
breaking that high line so easily. I think we need, like, fresh legs.
That's what I'm thinking. I think you need young legs willing to press, and dude, I'm telling you, I mean, you miss Sadio and Wijnaldum at times like this, do you not?
I don't think we
I know you're rolling your eyes. I know you think that's stupid, but when you talk about fresh legs, young legs, and you think about the energy that Wijnaldum and Sadio brought, Sadio started that press up there, man. I mean, Bobby, of course, but Bobby's out right now. You think Ox is starting that press? Hell no. Ox was just hanging out on the sideline waiting for the 90 minutes to come up. He didn't do anything. Mane,
yeah.
on the other hand, Mane's starting that. Sorry to interrupt you. You keep going. I just wanted to say, I think we're missing something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think if you play Sadio Mane yesterday, anything changes. That's
Fair
the thing.
point. Fair point.
That's how I look at it. With respect to, like, Wijnaldum, like, he'd put in a shift for you, but he's not gonna change that either. He's not gonna change that game yesterday.
Right. It was the overall performance was poor. Right.
Yeah, everything.
Okay. All right. So personnel wise, right? You think every position, huh?
In the midfield,
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, we just need more bodies.
More
I
bodies.
saw yesterday that, or maybe it was today, this morning, that they're gonna let Naby Keita go on a free in the summer.
That's increasingly more likely. Yes. And you know what's crazy is we actually want to keep him around. Um, or let me rephrase that. Liverpool, from the reports I've seen, would not be hard pressed to sell him or let him walk. Like they actually are trying to negotiate a new contract with him just for bodies, right? But you're right; it's likely he's going to walk on a free in the summer.
That I mean, I think it's time he leaves regardless, but the fact that they
Absolutely,
didn't cash in on him when they could have, at least for something, is
right,
frustrating.
right, and it raises the question about if they're going to be frugal in their approach to transfers, right? In terms of players out and players in, if you want to bring that argument up, why aren't you taking advantage of players that can go out when you have the chance, like Naby Keita, and cashing in on them instead of letting them leave for free? I just think they like letting players leave for free. It seems like that's what they'd rather do.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't, because their contract just runs out. It's like you're paying them for an extra year or 6 months when you already know they're going to walk, and I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me. So Naby Keita's out, which when he came on, I just think the last 3 matches that I've seen Naby come on, I've actually been like, "Okay, he's offering something a little different in that midfield."
It's fresh legs. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
He's not, like, completely drained like the rest of these guys. Did he come on yesterday?
Yeah, Keita did, yeah. Yeah, him, Gomez, Elliott, and, who's the other dude? Doak. Doak came
Dope.
on. Yeah, who I like.
Yeah, when Keita comes on, he wants to push us forward, which is nice. But there's no reason for us to be keeping him around. I don't think he wants to be there, and I think we should have cashed in on him
Yeah,
a while ago, like 2 years ago.
he's probably injured. Couldn't cashed in then.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Let's go back. Let's go over to the chat here.
Yeah. See, Gary Richards here. What's going on? FSG must go. Klopp must share the blame for the team's shortcomings, which he does. She does in those press conferences. Let's go over to Liz here. Shout out to all the channel members in the chat. If we had a midfielder who could service the front line, we would be better off. And this all comes back to the video I was making the other day about the link up. Gakpo at least was trying to come short, but you can't have link up when you don't have possession. We didn't even have possession yesterday. We were just playing behind the entire match in every aspect. Possession was 70-30 yesterday, bro.
Yeah, I'm pulling that up right now. That is unbelievable.
It was an unbelievable match to watch. So talk about that. Let's see what else we got in here. Searing says yesterday was crazy. A lot of people calling for Klopp out. Oyvind makes me forget about Keita, which also needs to. Oh, Ox makes me forget about Keita. Liz says we need 4 midfielders. Okay, kind of what you were saying, Steve, like a full revamp here. Let's go Dermot. A lot of it comes down to wanting it more. We had an intensity and we'll win for the last few seasons. It's like now we can't get up for these matches, no energy and no closing down. Yeah, there is no press, Steve.
That's actually something that Klopp mentioned yesterday. Or no. Maybe it was Henderson. It's lack of energy.
No energy.
Like, why are you guys tired? Why are you tired?
Well, you look at how many. This is just me playing devil.
They all have had a recent break.
No, I understand, dude. Like, I know. I mean, they should. I don't care how many games you play. I mean, they played a lot last season. They played every single match they possibly could. But you're a professional athlete.
Yeah, it's not like they're not getting paid. They're not volunteering.
Yeah, you're not. I mean, if you're tired, you go to sleep. And you wake up the next day.
Well, a lot of them had a break from the World Cup.
That too. Yeah.
Like, even Hendo had a break after.
So I don't think that's an excuse, especially this year. Well, like you said, with the break in the World Cup, it's not fatigue. It's not. It's I honestly think it's legs. It's age. There's an older midfield out there going up against a much younger, energetic midfield. Hell, but the thing is, then you look at Lallana. Lallana was part of that midfield yesterday. That destroyed us. And Lallana's 34?
He's a damn manager, for crying out loud.
He was a player manager for a week. Oh my God. It's crazy, dude.
We got people over here in the chat.
Java here.
Yeah. The problem is an individual player position. I think he means is not. We need to rebuild from scratch. I think it's time for Klopp to walk. If he doesn't, he keeps playing Hendo, Fabinho, Trent. They should be on the bench. I don't think Trent was terrible yesterday, honestly. Like, he was whatever to me, but I didn't leave that match thinking, oh, Trent's garbage, like I have at times. I guess that's like a little bit of a silver lining, but I don't think Klopp needs to walk. But I will say this, and I said this the other day to someone, like, other clubs, other managers in this form, like, the manager gets sacked.
Absolutely.
Like, if this is any other top 6 club, adios.
Well, Fabrizio Romano, he was on a podcast, I think yesterday, or he was doing something in an interview yesterday. Klopp's untouchable. Klopp, that's basically what he was saying. Klopp is untouchable. There is no concern about Klopp getting sacked. Absolutely none. And I agree. Klopp is not getting sacked. And I'm not in the boat of sacking Klopp.
No, I'm not in that boat either. But I would not be surprised, really.
Ooh, I would.
Well, if we had stability above him, like we've had sporting directors walk, we have the club like potentially kind of for sale still, I guess,
Yeah, what the hell's
then
going
I
on with
could
that?
see it potentially. But right now, I think there's just too much other chaos and uncertainty where
Yeah.
if you switch the manager, like you're like conceding that we have no chance in finishing in any European spots, Europa League included.
And so if you think about Klopp at Dortmund, the the owner of Dortmund was interviewed after that and said it was probably or years down the line, saying it was probably premature to fire him because Klopp is one of the best managers in the world. You can't just go out and find another Klopp, right? This isn't Chelsea where you replace Sarri with Tuchel with Graham Potter now, who's been garbage, by the way. And it's just, it doesn't work like that. Klopp is going to go down as one of the most successful managers of all time and one of the best man managers of all time, up there with the greats. Okay.
Man manager for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
the
you don't
product he puts
fire
out.
you don't fire a coach like that. I don't care how bad you're playing. You do not fire a manager like that. Okay. You can't.
When do you though?
Great question. Great question. You have to exhaust all the other options before you fire the manager because the buck stops with him, right? But if the team is going through what it's going through right now, where you have all these injuries and you have an aging midfield, you have to provide him with all the resources necessary to overcome those obstacles. You need to give him more personnel, all right? And you need to start the turnover in the midfield. So basically just personnel, like you were saying. And if then he can't succeed, then you talk about it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I just don't know if they're going to provide him with all that.
That's my concern. And he looks deflated, man. Klopp just looks, and I don't know if it's just because the team is playing so poorly, he doesn't know what to do, or if there's something going on where he's trying to get players and he can't get players. The dude was wearing a Yankees hat the other day, which is a savage move. I think that's so savage. I see that and I'm like, that's a statement, but I don't know. What do we
The
got going
thing,
on? Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I think the thing that gets me is like if they are being like stingy, which they probably are, I would imagine they're looking into players and they have been, especially in the midfield. I just don't know why they bought Gakpo. Like, why didn't you put that
I do.
money towards somewhere else?
I do. Look at the injuries we have in the front line, dude. If Gakpo wasn't available yesterday, who's playing, Steve?
That's not my point. I understand that we have injuries there, but like when all those guys come back, unless they're planning on Firmino leaving, I don't understand that signing when there's greater needs here, greater immediate needs. Don't buy Gakpo and then not buy what we really need.
But you get what I'm saying, right? Because I understand what you're saying. We didn't need an attacker, but at the same time, we did, Steve.
Right, but like if you're homeless and you have a car, it's like buying a new car before buying a house.
Okay, but what if your car's broken down? That's what I'm saying. That's
But it
what
can
we
still
did.
drive. Like you can still
You
drive it.
can't drive a broken down car.
No, I well, you're saying it's broken down. I'm saying
But
it's
I'm saying that because that's what's going on right now. You got world class attackers who are all out, right? So that's essentially having a car that's broken down. And so let's say we bought a bike in the meantime or something, right? It's not necessary, but we did it to fill a hole because otherwise we'd be walking everywhere. So that, but our real need was a house and shelter because it's 12 degrees outside. So if we're going to use that analogy, I agree. So if we had the urgency to buy Gakpo, I get it. Where's the urgency to buy the midfielders? I think that's
right.
what you're saying. Yeah. I
Something's
don't
got to
know.
change.
I don't know. All right. So Tiago has this year and next year left on his deal. Hendo just signed a new deal. Keita's walking. Fabinho, brand new deal like last year. Um, Ox is probably going to walk, which he played up front. And then you got Elliot Carvalho.
Milner.
Milner. I don't
Like
know.
Milner probably would have been great yesterday, honestly.
Yeah, he probably would have done a better
Bring him
job.
on
Yeah.
at like halftime or something. We needed some sort of
I,
Milner-esque
I need
vibe in there.
someone with some bounce. I need someone who is going to be up in your face the whole game. And Thiago's not doing that. Hendo's not doing that. I saw Hendo the amount of times yesterday I saw Hendo run at somebody and then that person just went right around him. It was exhausting to watch. Thiago's not pressing anybody. You know what I mean? Fabinho's slow as hell. Like, we got to get some speed in that midfield, dude. And Keita, fresh legs, a little bit of speed. Who would you bring in? Who are these midfielders we need to revamp? Would
Uh,
you bring in Casado?
I mean, yeah, that would be a great option. I think my hunch is that we're going to get Ruben Neves.
Oh, you said
There's a
that
little bit of
last
an
night.
echo coming through your
Why?
speakers. Do you hear
What'd you
me?
say?
There's a little bit of an echo coming through your speakers.
Oh, hold on.
Either like headphones or just
Yeah,
the
I need to
audio.
is it still echoing?
Echo, echo. Yep.
It is? Okay, let me go get some headphones, but you keep going.
Why Ruben Neves? I don't know. I just have a hunch. I just think it wouldn't surprise me to do business with Wolves or to get someone that's like somewhat proven in the Premier League. I don't necessarily want him. I wouldn't be super excited over that signing, but it's better than nothing. And I've seen some links, so I would say like a combination of all that stuff is why I think it could happen. We've done a lot of business with Wolves in the past, and again, he's played in the Premier League. I don't know like what his relative like injury history is. I would hope we wouldn't get someone that has injuries. That's something we can look into for sure. But I just have a hunt. I just feel like that's more realistic than a Moises Caicedo, however you say it. An Amrabat. I heard he may be going to Atletico.
I don't like Ruben Neves. We've been linked with him for 5 years.
Yeah, I just have a weird feeling about this one.
When Wolves were promoted, we were talking about getting this guy. I don't want Ruben Neves. You know?
Yeah,
Give
like I
me
said, I wouldn't be super stoked over it either, but he does a little bit of everything.
Yeah. What about Artur Melo on a permanent deal, Rob Scott says.
Well, that's just laughable at this point. Like,
This is-
where is he?
We've got to be the worst club at loaning players. It's just
It's
terrible.
unbelievable. I'm gonna look up Ruben Neves.
Steve goes last night. He goes, does he have a spinal cord injury? Where is
Yeah,
he?
like, is he in a wheelchair? I don't understand. I don't even see photos of him.
It's just where well, he had that injury, but he made a post on New Year's and he was saying it was a really rough year for him and he's really dedicated to like it was like a really sentimental post about his career. So he's going through a lot, I guess. So, a little empathy there, but just taking that aside, his injuries and everything he's going through, if you just look at the situation, it's comical.
It's so bad.
It's just comical, dude.
All right. So I'm looking at Ruben Neves here, and then we can move on from this. He's been at Wolves since 17-18. He's played 35 match. We'll just go with just the Premier League after they got promoted the first time. Or actually they've been up since. Um 35 matches played, 38, 36, 33, and this year he's got 18.
Okay.
So he's fit.
So fit, box checked.
He's got 4 goals this year.
Okay. Assists.
0.
Okay.
Not an assist guy. I'm looking through the numbers. He's not an assist guy. But I don't care about that. Like, just get me somebody else.
But Ruben Neves, of all the people, Ruben Neves.
I just think that's who they might go with. He's 25.
Yeah, no, he's still young. He's very young. Oh, dude, I want a prolific midfielder. I get there's a mold they want to fill in that midfield, but I want a prolific midfielder. A Bellingham, right? Obviously. But I want other young players that have that prolific ability. The ability that they're on the ball, you're just like, wow, that person's good. You know what I mean? Like Keita has that sometimes when we see him. But like Kone from Mönchengladbach was one I was thinking about. I guess Ruben Neves at times. But you see all these other teams, like they're just buying players. They're always buying players. And I just need us to buy somebody.
I'm still here. Just my mic's dying.
All right. Let's go over to the chat. Official says we should go all out for Bellingham and Rice. Dude, I don't think Declan Rice is leaving West Ham. What? He's been given the captain's armband. I really don't think he's going anywhere. Neves is not what we need. He's like the Ben Davies of transfers. Manu Kone, Thuram, Mateus Nunes. There's another one. Mateus Nunes. What the hell is wrong with Liverpool? We're linked with all these players. Like, if we end up getting Mateus Nunes in the summer, right? Just say we do. Why the hell would you not buy him before you made the transfer to Wolves? He's only been at Wolves since the summer. I believe I'm correct on that. Like, what is the point of that? I don't understand it. Saring says, all right, McAllister, Casado, Paulinho, Bellingham, Declan Rice. Okay. I think Rice is overrated. Liz asks, what did you get at Duncan, Steve?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can all hear everything you're doing.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just large iced coffee. Black. Half ice. Every
There
time.
you go. Jordan Welch says Ruben Neves is the type of midfielder we need in terms of ability. But he's just not mobile. We need a mobile midfielder, for the love of God.
Yeah,
We need
he's
somebody who could
pretty
press.
slow. He's pretty slow.
Carl
That's a good
says
point.
Coop Miners. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, but Coop Miners. Keita Edwards says we waited too long. That's the thing. We have to pull the trigger on these guys. We have to.
I think they'll do some business here.
In
Like, it's
January,
just we've dropped too
have
low
to.
to not. We have to.
We have to. Okay? You can't sit idly by after a performance like yesterday and the match before, and pretty much since we came back, and not do something.
We have no choice.
We have zero
Otherwise,
choice.
we're not even going to finish Europa League.
That's what scares me the most. That's
It
what
is
scares me
scary.
the most.
Terrifying.
Especially, and we don't have a bad team, but it's just the team itself is not performing. So what do? You can't wait. There's no time to wait. You can't wait it out and wait for him to start playing well again. You have to go into the market and get somebody, because it does one of two things. One, person you buy ends up being really good and helps fix the problem. Or two, it motivates everyone to step up their game. So it's a win-win. These players are used to new players coming in. They know it happens. Do something, man. I'm tired of watching Chelsea spend the amount of money they spend every transfer window. And we don't. When we need it. Chelsea don't need it.
Yeah, they just did you see that
They
João Felix
hijacked
got
that. Oh, João Felix?
suspended? Yeah.
Another striker. Let's just keep bringing in strikers. Lukaku, Aubameyang, now João Felix. Let's just keep bringing them in, guys. We got Christopher Nkunku. Forget about all the 12,000 left backs we bought. Pulisic's injured now. Let's bring in Raheem Sterling. It's remarkable.
It's unbelievable how much money they spend. It's like they just don't have a limit.
And they have the biggest amount of players. Their roster is the biggest in the Premier League. The amount of they're implementing a new law coming up here soon about you can only loan out a certain number of players, so they're gonna have to sell them off. But Chelsea is known for having that sheer loan army of players where they loan out like 50 players each year. And they're still spending money. That pisses me off.
Well, João Felix just I believe he got a red card and he's suspended now for 3 matches or something.
Yeah, dude, first match is Chelsea. Got a red card. So
They just dropped 10 million for him
yeah, a nice little loan fee, 10, 11 mil, whatever it was.
for half a year. And he's going to miss a quarter of those games now. But it just goes to show you, like, spending all sorts of cash, it doesn't fix the problem either. But it shows at least that you care.
Yeah.
Like everybody's saying FSG out, like, yes, like obviously, because they've taken us as far as they can. But if they're trying to sell the club, they're probably like, well, why would we invest more right now? Let's just sell it first.
I really think again, this just comes back to people being absolutely airheaded when it comes to the business side of things and just refusing to look at the actual situation. You bring up a great point. As if we're owning the club and they're trying to sell it, why would we invest more money right now? Why don't we wait to sell it and let them do it? It's just not a good decision on their end. But then from a fan's perspective, from a team's perspective, and from Klopp and the players, we're all thinking, why aren't you fix the problem? Do you actually care about the club? And right now, their priority is probably selling the club.
Yeah, it's like if you're selling your house, you're not going to put an addition on it while you listed it on the market.
But people
all sorts of analogies today.
Oh yeah, I love it. People think to themselves, they just get pissed off when they hear that. They're like, "Oh my god!" It's like it's the logic.
But it's true. Like
it's so true.
That's probably what's happening. But I do also, I also think they are like working in the market. I just don't think they've been able to find a deal yet.
Right.
That they want, and they're not. The difference is they're not willing to spend that extra 20 million for a player that's not worth 80 or 60. They want to pay regular value, but the clock is ticking.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these players have the World Cup buzz. Teams don't like to sell in January. They'd rather sell in the summer. So there's a premium on these players. And I think the difference between FSG and Chelsea is Chelsea doesn't care.
No.
Other clubs don't care. Like they will just do whatever it takes. That's why we need new owners, someone that will do whatever it takes.
But at the same time, look at the amount of money our owners have versus others. It's less. Like FSG are not super, super, super wealthy. And we've talked about this before. All of their money's tied up in their assets, in the Red Sox, in Liverpool, in the Globe or whatever, new acquisitions. There's talk of them buying the Penguins a while back. They don't just have all this money. Like I'm pretty sure Chelsea's owner is worth like many, 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 many billions of dollars. So he doesn't care about dropping 500 mil since he's gotten to the club. He doesn't care.
He's going to get it back.
Yeah, he's going to get it back, or he's going to report it as a loss. Like he doesn't care.
Right.
And so, but FSG don't have that luxury. But people don't see that. They just see, oh, they're owners. They can buy whatever they want. And while I get that, there are options out there in the to buy midfielders, Steve.
Yeah, Carl here makes a good point. He says if we don't make Champions League football, surely the club could drop by millions. So not investing doesn't make sense. That's a great point. And I'm sure FSG, well, two things. If they don't make Champions League football, it makes it harder to attract players. That's number one.
100%.
And then number two, FSG could buy someone with one of those like installment or payment plans, and then just write it into the contract when they sell the club that like you take over this fee. When you buy this club, This is what's left to spend on this player. Put it as part of the contract. Like there's so many. It's so customizable.
However, you have to have both parties interested in that, right? A lot of teams are cool with that. They're like, okay, in payment plans, that's fine. But a lot of times, if you're buying from a lower side, like a PSV, for example, or a Porto, or whatever, the teams we usually buy from, they want one lump sum because they're looking to reinvest that money immediately, right? They don't have the luxury of waiting and getting 12 million over the course of 12 months this year, and then like that's just not enough for them. Okay? The amount of money they're losing by selling the player is huge. So, you have to have both parties interested. But you're right, there are options out there. You could do a big lump sum up front and then a payment plan, right? There's tons of options. Um, but you're right. I think they're looking for that good deal, that right deal. Because players come at a premium in January, and
Yeah, well, they need to find 2 deals.
they need to find 3 potentially.
Yeah, maybe like one's not enough. Like let's just take Amrabat for example. If he plays yesterday, it's the same result.
Yeah,
Like
true.
you got to think about it that way. Like one player is not going to fix this. There's more wrong than just lack of quality in the midfield, lack of fresh legs. One player will not fix that. One midfield player cannot control a game.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Liz says that we have no debt, so we could use debt to buy players. I hate the thought of buying things or financing things. And I'm pretty sure that's what FSG hate too. Whereas other clubs don't mind. Like the amount of debt some of these clubs have is insane. But because they're in the Premier League, they make the money back and they can make their payments, and they don't go into default or administration or whatever, it's called over there. I think it's very smart not to have any debt, any overhead. Like I think Liverpool have done a great job of that, or FSG have done a great job of that. What are we doing here?
It's okay to go into debt for a little bit.
Yeah, it's
Like
okay. No, no,
we've reached the low where you have to kind of break your strategy and change things
right.
and
But
take a
again,
risk.
then it comes back to they're approaching the point of selling the club, and so maybe they just don't. They want to present a club without debt to the buyers, because
Hmm.
then I mean, it's more beneficial that way. But what else? What else we got here? How bad is Graham Potter? I thought he was meant to be the next big English manager. Chelsea have no idea what they're doing with managers, dude. Zero, zero idea.
I knew it was a mistake, him going there.
They have no idea what they're doing, dude. They've had good managers and they fire them the next year. Chelsea are a joke of a club when it comes to consistency and continuity. None. Zero at that club. I'm sorry. There's not. There's none.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got? Oh boy, not him. What's up? Haven't seen you in a while. We need 3 players potentially now and 3 more in the summer. We need 3 midfielders, period. 3 midfielders. I don't care if you get 1 now, 2 in the summer, or between you get 1 now, 1 in the summer, 1 in winter of next year. You need to buy 3 midfielders.
I actually think in the like the grand scheme of things, you need more than 3. And here's why.
Yeah.
Because Hendo's getting older, Thiago's getting older, Milner, who knows how long he'll continue. And then you have Ox and Keita, see ya. So that's 5 players right there where there's an uncertainty about them in the near future, whether it's their level of play, their contract, their age. Um, like that's 5 guys that in a year and a half could be finished from like an ability perspective or just not here.
Mm.
Like they need to go buy 5 midfielders, I feel like. Because Curtis Jones isn't the answer. I
No.
love Harvey Elliott and shout out to him. He's the only player that's played in every match
Oh, wow, really?
in the Premier League. Yep.
I didn't realize that.
I heard that yesterday. Harvey's fine.
Yeah.
He's young,
But he's
but
not he's more of a progressive midfielder. He's not a midfielder that's going to give you that pressing, that speed, that strength that we need, right? So,
yeah, he needs to be surrounded by like kind of defensive minded players. like they
Right,
have been doing,
right, right.
but it's just not working. Like 5 midfielders would like if I had a wish, it would be to buy 5 midfielders, 5 new midfielders.
God, that'd be kind of crazy. What would we have? 13 total midfielders, but then at the end of the year, you got Ox and Keita who are walking. Um, so you're down to 11. Milner might walk too, just because of his age. I hope. I mean, who cares? At this point, anytime I see Milner extend his contract, I'm just like, awesome, cool. I'm not
Yeah,
like super excited. I'm just like, good, keep going, Milner. We probably could use you.
yeah, we could use them yesterday
Yeah.
and use
So
them in cup games. I got
yeah,
no problem with Milner at all. I love
yeah,
James freaking Milner. He's a legend.
he is an absolute legend.
But Chris says, which current midfielders do you think should actually stay? It's a great question. Hendo. I think Hendo should stay. He was dreadful yesterday. He hasn't been great recently, but this season he's been okay. Thiago should stay. Harvey should stay.
Oh, of course.
I think
Carvalho,
Curtis Jones should stay.
Carvalho, Curtis
His
Jones.
role is unclear moving forward, Curtis Jones, but like we
Yeah.
can use him. And Carvalho, I get just because we just got him.
I I don't know why Carvalho doesn't play more. I think Carvalho, I mean, he's young, I get it, but you're playing Elliott. You're playing Elliott every Premier League game. You know, Elliott has shown to be much more productive and consistent than Carvalho, but I like Carvalho passes the eye test for me. So,
Yeah, I
um,
think he's just more offensive minded than Klopp feels comfortable putting in there from the start.
that makes sense. But why not play him on the wing? Why play Ox?
That's a better question. I have no idea.
It's just like what are we doing? And you brought up a good point yesterday. Why not put Curtis Jones on the wing instead of Ox?
Yeah, we've seen him play left wing.
Eh, I mean, it can't be any worse than Ox.
I've seen Hendo play left wing.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
When?
2 years ago?
2 years? Oh, okay. I thought you were going to talk about like when he first came to the club and he was more
No,
attacking
no.
mid.
Like it was like a one-off game. Same thing with Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones has started on left wing.
Well, I know
Even
that.
Wijnaldum had.
Yeah, I did know Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum has played everywhere. He played left wing. He defended. He's played everywhere, man. Kind of crazy.
I think the last thing here on the midfield is like the Fabinho piece. I don't know what's going on with him.
He's got a lot of stuff going on at home, and I'm not using that as an excuse, but you have to be able to separate your home life and work. And right now, it almost football should be an escape for him. If he's got a lot of stuff going on at home, get on the field and just lose yourself in the game. Just dominate. But I think he's got a lot going on mentally. At least
He's the
that's what
type
I
of
see.
player that supplements a, a stable quality side.
Right. He doesn't run it.
Right. So if the team's playing like crap, he's just going to be lost because he doesn't have that role of just cleaning stuff up because there's too much stuff to clean.
He's like a full vacuum at this point, right? Like it's continuing to do its job, but it's not making any progress because it's full. You got to empty it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
for sure.
I love these analogies today. These are just great analogies. All right. Everyone's saying Jones, no Jones, loan Jones. Jones needs to be sold. Curtis Jones has stood still for 2 years.
Well, he's
Okay.
battled injuries as well.
Yeah,
I don't think he's worth anything. What are you going to sell him for?
he's really just stagnant. Like he hasn't improved, but he hasn't gotten any worse. And I've seen the problem though is his age. So like when he was younger and we saw him play, he's at pretty much the same level now, and you're like, this kid has potential, but he has not progressed.
No, and I don't think we'll see him progress because I don't think he's ever going to get the game time. But there's no doubt there's talent there. There's a player there. Maybe he doesn't have the potential that some of these other guys do. Like I can see Harvey getting way better.
Oh God, yeah.
I can't see that with Jones.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen it from Jones though, dude. I've seen it. I've watched it on the pitch. I've seen him be technical. I've seen him score goals. I've seen him make great passes. And I don't know, I hate it when a player just doesn't work out. It's kind of sad to see. So,
I don't think we should sell him though, because he's not worth anything.
yeah, you wouldn't get a lot for him. Maybe loan him out. You never know. Loan him out to a club.
No, just let him stick around. Good player to have in training. Good player to sub in here and there. Cup games.
Yeah.
He needs more. I think he deserves more time.
Definitely needs more playing time, and I think a lot of people in the chat are saying something like that too, talking about loaning him out.
I mean, more time. I'm not even thinking about like minutes right now in matches. I'm thinking about like he needs another like year or two before we make a final decision.
Oh, yeah, true. Searing says, where the hell is Ramsey? I want to see more of him and maybe experiment with Trent in the midfield.
Not going to happen.
It won't happen, but that's the first time I've read Trent in the midfield and thought to myself, that's how bad the midfield's been. I'm like, what if we try Trent in the midfield?
I thought about that earlier in the show.
Oh my god. It's like, no, Trent's playing right back, dude.
Kaida Edwards says, this is great. Jones is like Solanke, you know what he's capable of doing, but he's just not doing it. Sure. That's perfect.
That is a good one. Yeah. What else we got in here? I want to take a second to say thanks to everyone who's tuning into the show. Feel free to subscribe if you're enjoying the content and leave a thumbs up down below as well. It goes a long way and it's completely free. It takes 2 seconds.
Do it now.
Now. All right. Gabin says loads of dead wood. Dead wood.
Yeah, Carl says the same thing. We need to be ruthless with the dead wood.
I agree.
Yeah.
But our dead wood is walking at the end of the year. You got Ox walking. I'm very interested to see where Ox goes, dude.
I think he'll stay in the Premier. He'll stay in England.
Oh, he'll definitely stay in England. But I wonder if he'll go to like a Brentford or if he'll go to like an Aston Villa. He wouldn't. I don't even think he'd play at Aston Villa.
There's a spot for him though. Like there's a place for him and his talent.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a lower side.
Hendo is not getting sold. I just want everyone to understand that. Hendo is not getting sold. Even if he plays bad, Hendo is here to stay at the club. He's going to retire at the club. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and like I said, he's been okay this year.
Yeah.
Really bad lately, but he's been okay.
Yeah. Gary Richards says, does Tyler Morton replace Fabinho? Too young to determine that, but we do have some young, promising midfielders between Bajcetic, Tyler Morton, the dude who's on loan at not Blackpool. Is it the club that Harvey Elliott went to? Blackburn Rovers. He's the short guy. Remind me what his name is. Leighton Clarkson. I think he's on loan over there. I like him. But
I like
Tyler
Bajcetic.
Morton. Yeah. Tyler Morton and Bajcetic are probably, for me, the two that I want to see play a little bit more. So, Jordan, what's going on, man? Sarin, Klopp out bandwagon. Who would you replace him with if he is sacked? Ooh, Sarin. You don't want to stir the pot, man. They're going to come after you. They won't hit you with facts. They'll come after you.
Who would you replace him with, though? Let's just say he did get sacked.
I have no idea. There's nobody.
I'd probably want Zidane.
He'd never come.
I don't think so, but that's probably who I'd want.
Never come to Liverpool.
Because he's won.
Yeah. Pochettino?
No.
No? Okay.
No way.
Well, dude, this is what I'm saying. Nobody levels up to him. So it's like anyone you say is going to be like, no.
Well, you have to accept that. I think Zidane's in the conversation.
Well, yeah, I guess. I don't want to get rid of Klopp, though. So it's like,
no, I know.
I don't care. Lee Miles here. Shout out to everyone who's new in the chat as well. Bajcetic will become Fabinho. And Trent.
Yeah, I agree. I like him a lot.
Before
he plays hard.
Yeah.
Like he's like Milner.
Yeah, I do like Bajcetic.
He's a savage.
He is. He's good. I like him.
He will go head on into any tackle anytime. And for someone his age to be showing that, like, I think he's the future of like the defensive midfield role, unless we sign somebody, which we should.
Yeah. Yeah, Liz says bring in Big Sam. Is it time for Big Sam?
No,
Bring him in.
no way. What
Pick
a
him
joke.
up.
Pick him up.
Oh man. Stevie G going to Poland, man. Did you see that? He might be
I
going
did
to
not.
he might be managing Poland.
The national team?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I haven't followed up on it, but good God. Blake, what's up, bro? Shout out to Blake. All right.
Legend.
All right, what do we got? Klopp, not the problem. It's the players. Yep. That's basically the sum. It's basically the whole thing. Basically the whole thing. Now, one thing I want to touch on. We are approaching the end of the show here. I want to touch on this, Steve, because you brought it up last night, and I think it must be said. So, in terms of net spend, everyone wants to talk about net spend. Let's not talk about net spend. Let's just talk about who we've bought. Spending money, not net spend. All right. Because when you talk about how much you make, you don't talk about how much you netted. You talk about your gross. All right. So I need everyone to just shut up about net spend. So we've bought Darwin Nunez, Luis Diaz, Ibrahima Konate, Diogo Jota, Gakpo, Calvin Ramsey, Simikas, Thiago. And I'm pretty sure those are the main ones over like the last 3 years, 3 or 4 years. Not even 4, maybe just 3.
We can even just remove Jota and Samikas because
So
those were like
Jota,
3 years ago.
Simikas, and Thiago were all in the window.
Yeah, we can just go with the last year and a half.
Okay, so let's go with the last year and a half.
So we had Konate last summer.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Diaz in January, right?
Diaz in January. Yep.
Nunez in the summer, and Gakpo here in January. So what does that tell you? That's 3 attackers.
That's investment for me, but no midfielder.
That's my point. Like they're buying good players, but like you just have to buy a few more in the midfield.
Yeah. And for some reason, this is not a bad thing. I like the youth movement. I like it. But you gotta buy some midfielders, man. I think Klopp thinks that the midfield is the area where you can experiment the most with the least amount of risk, which I understand. So when you look at you absolutely need players that can score goals. You have to have players that can score goals, right? And so you have less time and freedom to experiment with young guys because you don't know if they're going to produce or not because you just need the production. Same with defending. You don't necessarily have the time to experiment with the young guys because you need players that can stop goals from going in. The midfield is less risk. They're just there. They're playing. They're really they can have an impact on whether or not a team gets chances, sure, but they're not the final line on either end of the pitch. So I think that's why Klopp has gone with this youth movement in the midfield and trying to give these players a little bit more time. Like, how many players have you seen aside from Doak in the attacking line that are youth players? Virtually none.
Mm-hmm.
But the midfield, you're seeing all these players defending, none. Nobody. Anyone you've seen as an experiment defending is gone. All right. Yasar Larouci, see you later. Connor Randall, see you later. All these players you've seen, Adam Smith, see you later. All garbage. But Klopp has kept the midfielders around. So, things to think about. What the hell was the question? I went on a tangent.
No, we
The
were just
money,
talking about
the spending, why we haven't
yeah.
spent in the midfield. Okay. We need to. You think they're saving up? You think they just have like this duffel bag of cash and they're just going to drop it this summer? And get a bunch
Probably, but it doesn't matter because then you have to just focus on the Premier League because you're not going to make the Champions League if you don't do something now.
I mean, mathematically we can, but you're right. I'm scared. I'm
Yeah.
actually scared that we're not going to make the Champions League.
It's
Let me
definitely a
guess.
valid concern. Or Europa. I won't even watch Europa League matches. I'm just kidding. I will.
Yeah,
But
European.
it's just beat. Like, I'm all set with that.
Yeah, I agree. So essentially, guys, there needs to be investment in the midfield. That's what it comes down to. But we're going to wrap up the show here. I want to say I appreciate everyone coming in and showing their support for the show. All your thoughts are, I read all the comments. If we don't talk about them, that's just want to let you know I read them all. Steve, I want to appreciate you for being here, my man. Make sure you guys take the time. It's completely free. Like the stream if you enjoyed it. Subscribe. Share it with a friend, right? This is the only channel you guys are going to find logical conversations, okay, from a fan's perspective. I'm serious because a lot of times emotions get in the way. This is a logical channel, positive channel at that, and we're going to look at all aspects of it. All right, guys. So appreciate everyone for being here. Until next time, Reds, take care.